So the Colts come up with a win 27-14 in the preseason finale, but we've got a lot of whispers. We're going to cover all that and more on this, the No Horsing Around podcast.
Thank you.
Okay, you guys. So last night, preseason finale, Colts take down the Bengals in Thursday Night Football on prime time, 27-14. A win is a win unless it's really preseason and you're really looking for more of, as everybody knows, right? We're looking more for how do the players look? How do the backups look? How do they play? And then are you coming out clean? Are you coming out healthy? Right? So, taking all that into account, we've heard a lot of chirping since last night because Anthony Richardson, right? Anthony Richardson starts 7 of 8, goes right down the field, touchdown to A.D. Mitchell. And a lot of people are like, okay, take him out of the game. Go ahead and take the starters out. You went right down the field. You looked really good. And you didn't get hurt. But Shane Steichen, a man of his word, decides that he's going to leave the starters in, just like he said, till about halfway through the second quarter. And from then on, Anthony Richardson went, 1 of 6, I believe, for an interception, which was a pick six, right? It was rough after that, and a strip sack or a kind of a rollout fumble, right? But everyone who's not a Colts fan starts freaking out and starts wondering, what does this mean? He didn't look good. He looked erratic. He had an overthrow to A.D. Mitchell. He had the pick six. He had the fumble. What does all this mean? And us Colts fans are like, it doesn't mean anything. It's the preseason. He's still super young. We expect ups and downs from him, right? But you've got people on X and Threads and YouTube who are doing all this chirping. But then you have experts, right? Like Dan Orlovsky, who's breaking it down, going, hey, look, you've got a miscommunication definitely with the pick six on what looks to be Granson's side. You got Michael Pittman Jr. dropping a ball that he would normally catch. You got A.D. Mitchell openly kind of letting it be known that he took a weird stutter step on across that middle that ruined the timing of that pass, right? You've got those things, and it's like, hey, his game wasn't as bad as you originally think. They've got to clean up the miscommunications. They've got to be on the same page, right? So you've got Dan Orlovsky talking about that. You got Chase Daniels, who I love. If you don't follow him on Twitter or X, also check him out. I've been on Threads a lot more. Check him out on Threads. He does an amazing job there. He's like spearheading NFL Threads, which is really fun. Saying, hey, he's got a cannon. He looks really good. Everyone's kind of in agreement, right? He didn't look great last night, but it's the preseason. You came out clean. You came out healthy, and you have things for the next 17 days for Steichen to nitpick and help clean up, which is fantastic, right? So you have that portion of the game, right? I think we can all contest too. Now, granted, they were playing against second and third stringers the entire game for the Bengals, but you can contest to the D line looks special. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, Latu gets his first sack, looked great. They paired him up with Buckner on the same side, and it was just like, it's like a human cheat code at that point, right? They just looked insane when it came to it. I mean, the defense looked really, really solid. The D line specifically, right? So then you start kind of looking about how do the lower level guys who potentially are going to make the roster or not make the roster, how do they look? Me personally, I'm watching tight end a little closer, obviously, right? I'm a big Jelani Woods guy. Obviously, news broke today that he had surgery on turf toe. He's out for 4 months. So, I mean, you're going to clear up his spot. You're not going to cut him. You're going to put him on IR. But who are those other tight ends? You got Mo Alley-Cox. You got Kylan Granson. And you got Will Mallory. And you got Ogletree, right? I like Ogletree a lot. I think he's the most well-rounded of all of them. We know what Mo is. Will Mallory's a good receiving tight end. Kylan Grantson's probably the best of all of them, but his communication and his synchronity, I don't feel like that's a word. I think I just made that up. Was not on the same page, at least last night, with AR. So I mean, watching the running backs. JT only took a handful of carries. Well, I mean, I think he took like 4 or 5 carries, and that was it. He may have been weighed down by the Guardian helmet, which I don't think he's going to wear in the regular season. But I digress. So you look at how Goodson looked, because Trey Sermon was, penciled in as running back number 2. He's been injured. How Goodson looked, how Hull looked. They both look really good too. You're seeing a lot of run, a lot of play from some other players. Nick Cross, it kind of is. He didn't do a whole lot in this one. But as far as the D looked, it looked good. There's obviously questions too. Matt Gay didn't trot out at all, and he's definitely had the yips. And he wasn't even out there. And it was been good to see him take these 50-yard field goals, but he didn't. So it is what it is. They're not going to cut him. It's a $10 million dead cap if they do. They're not going to do that. So overall, you saw the really good, the timing with Anthony Richardson on some of the throws to A.D. Mitchell, on the ones to Alec Pierce, right? On another one to Granson that looked really good. The timing was amazing. And it's really important to remember in regards to the offense. There's a massive part that you're not going to see till the season starts. And that's Anthony Richardson's legs. They're not going to run him in the preseason and risk him getting hit in a preseason meaningless game. There was a play early in the game where it was an RPO. He gave it to JT. JT got about 2 yards. And you can see Anthony that if he had pulled it, I think he pointed at the end zone. It was clear. It would have been a touchdown. They got the touchdown later in the drive with A.D. Mitchell. But that's a really important part of his game that you're not going to see until the regular season. And Steichen's not going to show his hand a ton. It's still very vanilla. It was a ton of drop back in this game. So just deep breath when it comes to Richardson. You came out of the preseason. 2-1 is 2-1. It is what it is. Peyton used to go 0-4, So I'm not concerned with the winning, but he looked really good on that first drive. You have stuff to critique. Okay. The running backs behind JT looked very good. I think the D line, like I said, I think coming out of it, like I said, with the caveat that they were playing against second and third stringers, the D line looks very realistically special potentially, right? Like they could be very special this year. Secondary, it is kind of what it is. You kind of watch it, but there was a lot of backups playing there. And Matt Gay. So, we got 17 days until the start of the season at home against the Texans. It is what it is. We're going to have a little fun over the next 17 days. We're going to talk about, who we think is going to make the roster. We're going to talk about the final 53. Who's tight end number 1 now that, in my opinion, your potential tight end number 1, Jelani Woods, is out. So, as always, you guys, please like, share, subscribe, comment, all those great things. Follow on X, on Threads, on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all those great places. And as always, you guys, I love you. I know the Colts love you. I'm out.
Thank you!